Hello everybody, my name is Bolage and we have a brand new Motorola smartphone here. It's called the Moto Z. It's out in the US already. Here in Europe we still have to wait 1 month till September till one of the slimmest smartphones in the world will come to market with just 5.2 millimeters. It's amazingly slim but still really robust. It's not bendable as the first tests have shown, and that's quite awesome since it's a full metal body device. As far as I can feel, it's not that light but still beautiful with a 5.5-inch screen with a high resolution AMOLED technology, 2560 x 1440 resolution. So even for VR devices, it's capable. And as I said, it's really quite slim, and especially interchangeable back covers make it quite interesting for a lot of people, I think, in the fashion area, because you can just design the back cover easily or choose the back cover easily for any occasion that you are attending. So you can see it's this easy to put it on. The magnet is actually not just on the bottom or the top, it's all over the device on the back, especially strong around the camera here. So it's quite nice to see that, and these back covers will stay strong on here no matter what. And there's obviously, as you can see in the background, not only back covers for designer people out there, but maybe also people that want to use this as a projector, so as a workstation device with just presentations that you can hold right away with this little device, and the Moto projector pack on the back for $300. This would be quite cool, with a separate battery inside and USB Type-C also for charging that one, and also here for the speaker with no additional battery pack actually, or maybe on the inside, for just having even better sound with a JBL technology inside. So you don't need to take your Bluetooth speaker anymore with you, just take your, for example, speaker backpack with you. And there's also battery packs and so on that will come out in the next few months. So as you were able to see, on the left side there's no ports at all, but on the top we have still a nano SIM card slot and a micro SD card slot, so you can expand the internal memory, which can be chosen from 32 or 64 gigs. You have a secondary microphone obviously, and also the on and off switch right here, and a volume rocker. On the bottom though you have a USB Type-C connector, which is looking quite great, and there's no headset jack since the device is so slim. A headset jack wouldn't have fitted on here, so there is a headset obviously with Type-C available, I think, inside the package, but otherwise just use a Bluetooth headset. That's what I'm usually doing. And then again, the beautiful Motorola technology that, for example, you can just go a little bit closer with your hand above these sensors here. One sensor doesn't do it, you have to do it with two sensors here, and then you can see, you can take a look at the glance screen on AMOLED. The only pixels that will use actually power are the white ones. Everything that stays black does not need any power, for example, which is quite nice. So therefore a small battery of 2600 milliamp, that's for example in this phone, and will also last you through the day probably. Then we have great cameras on the front and the back, 5 megapixel f2.2 aperture with a flashlight, also some sensors here that you can clearly see on the white version, but on the black it will be less obvious. And then on the back you have the 30 megapixel camera with f1.8 and a dual flash LED on the back. Again, looking quite great here, the device, which I will just turn on right now. I don't have actually my fingerprint set up right now inside. We could do it right now, but this is not a home button or a real button. This is just an area to put your finger on when you unlock the device. Otherwise you have your Android buttons on the screen, and we have regular Android 6.0.1 running here, which is set up to run in German right now, but it's not that important because we obviously can change the language to any language we want in Android. Also, as you can see, it runs quite fast because you have the fastest Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 processor inside here with 4 gigs of RAM. So the same specs as you would see, for example, in a competing Samsung Galaxy S7 device. Also when it comes to display size and display resolution, that's also the same as the competition has. But for example, the camera has 1 more megapixel on the back with 30 megapixel, as I already mentioned, and you can see that the quality of that is also quite good, especially when it comes to focus and how easy you can change the settings. Also, for example, for videos you can shoot in up to 4K. For the front camera, it's also as good for selfies as, for example, as I mentioned, Samsung device, especially when it comes to the wide angle and the quality, 5 megapixel quality here, and a lot of settings that you can also set up here again, but more about that in my full review that will come out in September when we will get a full running review device here in Germany. Thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Balazs, and this was the Motorola Moto Z here in a really short hands-on from Munich.